A reading from the Acts of the Apostles, Acts 18, 9 through 18. One night, while Paul was in Corinth, the Lord said to him in a vision, "Do not be afraid. Go on speaking, and do not be silent, for I am with you. No one will attack and harm you, for I have many people in this city." He settled there for a year and a half and taught the word of God among them. But when Gallio was the proconsul of Achaia, the Jews rose up together against Paul and brought him to the tribunal, saying, "This man is inducing people to worship God contrary to the law." When Paul was about to reply, Gallio spoke to the Jews. "If it were a matter of some crime of malicious fraud, I should with reason hear the complaint of you Jews. But since it is a question of argument over doctrine and titles and your own law, see to it yourselves. I do not wish to be the judge of such matters." And he drove them away from the tribunal. They all seized Sosthenes, the synagogue official, and beat him in full view of the tribunal. But none of this was of a concern of Gallio. Paul remained for quite some time, and after saying farewell to the brothers, he sailed for Syria, together with Priscilla and Aquila. At Cenchreae, he had shaved his head because he had taken a vow. The word of the Lord. Good morning. So first off, I have a confession to make this morning. There's a confidence in our faith that you hear when you read anything written by Paul or about Paul. Yesterday there was a reading from Ephesians that was about Paul, and again you hear this confidence. You hear it in this passage where Paul is directed by God to have confidence, to go to Corinth, live in Corinth for a year and a half. And this is where, as you know, the readings from when you hear reading from the letter of St. Paul to the Corinthians. So he's made all these friends over a year and a half time, and then he goes off to be with the Ephesians, and then he writes back to the people of Corinth. But there's that confidence, and right now I feel that confidence. I feel this great feeling of being one with God. It's a pretty neat feeling. It's the first thing I want to tell you this morning. The second one is, so yesterday was the Ascension of the Lord, and I have to tell you, lecturing at the 7 o'clock Mass last night, I was blessed to also be a Eucharistic minister. What a great feeling. I came away from Mass last night so full of God. I remember when Mom and I first got married and we'd go to Mass, and I would very often use that expression. I would say, "I'm so full of God after Mass." And I so felt it last night. There is that wonderful nourishment that you receive when you receive the Eucharist. It's not like anything else. I can't describe it. Now compound that with the opportunity to be a lector and also to give out the Eucharist. It is spectacular. You feel this incredible presence of the Lord. It's pretty neat. And I think we need to feel both that confidence I'm speaking of and full of God in order to fully appreciate what it is that Paul is saying to us here. That in evangelizing and going forward and doing it in whatever way that we are charged, whether it's just how we live. And trust me, I get it. If you're a high school student, you're not going to stand on the street corner and try to evangelize people, nor should you. But as you've heard me say before, we should all behave as Christians in a way that makes people curious. It's like they want to look over the fence and figure out what it is that you have and say, "I want some." Dev, I think you've been a wonderful example of this with Ben, where Ben looks over the fence at you, and before he started going back to Mass, he looked and he said, All right, so what's going on over there? And you invited him back, and he is back now, and it's a beautiful thing. So just a couple of thoughts for you this morning. I hope you have a wonderful day. Peace.